Again, my name's Dane and welcome once more to IF Oxford and our third session of Glow Your Own on day 27 of this year's Science and Ideas Festival. I hope you've got to the stage of catching up with the last two sessions, the two videos from session one where we had the virtual building of the circuit is online, and then the second session that we had, and I have managed to get my lights flashing, is also online, and tonight is the third session and we're going to find out what we're going to be doing. I think it's now time to pass on to Sophie to get on with session 3.
Thank you, Dane, and you're looking wonderful for day 27 of the festival. We think you're having a wonderful time. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody, and happy nearly Halloween. If you want to make everything pumpkin orange today, then I fully support that decision. And Dane, if you are interested, I had toast and marmalade for my breakfast and it was very delicious. Right, Dane clearly approves of that choice. Right, so you all know me, I'm Sophie, I work at Rutherford Appleton Laboratory, but today I have brought along a friend who also works at the lab before me. We've got all kinds of thousands of people work there, and so I thought it might be nice for you to meet some of the other people who work there before we start coding. So I'm going to hand over to Rebecca, who's just going to say hello, and he's then going to join in with the session and run it alongside us. Rebecca?
Thank you. Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm actually a placement student at STFC, so I actually work in the scientific computer department. I actually work in the communication office, so I don't do coding every day, but in my degree in physics I definitely use it, so learning the code is really helpful. I've found personally that it saves me a lot of time when I'm doing a lab. I don't have to individually do each calculation if I can tell the computer to do it for me. So yeah, so I'm excited to be here and I hope I can help you out on any questions that you have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rebecca, and welcome to the coding. So last time we all got a light, an LED to turn on. So I'm just going to share my screen so that you can see the circuit that we were working on last time. So can you all see that? Yeah, raise your hand if you can see it. Well, I've got some wonderful raised hands there. So if everybody wants to head to Tinkercad, www.tinkercad.com, the same place that we've been going to for the last couple of weeks, and then raise your hand when you are there. Thank you. Sarah's just popped the address into the chat if anybody has forgotten it. So just raise your hand when you're there and do log on. So you can either log on through your own account or through the nicknames that we've given you in the past. If anybody wants a new nickname, then I will just give you some options here. So these are some other nicknames that people could use if you've lost yours. Okay, so I'll just give everybody a minute just to get on to Tinkercad so they're ready to build a circuit. So when you're ready to build your circuit, raise your hand.
Sophie, could you find the class code again? It's for some reason not on my screenshot and it's not on the screen in front of us.
Sorry, here it is. Here is the class code just up here. I've highlighted it for you now. I think it's also in the email that Dane sent out to you, so I can see Dane saying words, but I can't hear what he's saying. And Sarah's popped it in the chat too.
Me rushing on silently. I've just put the link in the chat box. So tinkercad.com/joinclass/JCBFHCDJ9GHH.
Super catchy link. I know. So yeah, do pop that in and then raise your hand when you're ready for us to do some wonderful coding. While you're thinking about that, while we're waiting for everybody to get to that point, have a think about rainbows. Think about what you know about rainbows. Right. Do we think everybody's there? Okay, somebody can't join account. Might be easy. Oh, Sarah's just replied. If you can't join the class, it's probably just because you've made a small typo in the link. But you can create your own account. It's completely free and it doesn't require any personal data apart from an email. Okay, got quite a few raised hands. So I'm going to move back to, I'm going to try and move back, but my sharing screen is in just the wrong place. Okay, so this was the circuit that we were working on last time. And if you remember, I know I've talked about complete circuits before, but it's really, really important. So this circuit, what happens is power comes in, we go from this pin 2 on our Arduino, we travel along the wire to get to this LED, through the LED to the resistor, along this line, and then down back to the Arduino and back to the ground. So you can trace a whole circle around this. So if you haven't got this circuit up on your Tinkercad, do start to make it. Bring out a breadboard and an Arduino. So if you remember, you can just drag the components on by clicking on them and dragging them over like that. And you can delete them by pressing the delete button here, the little rubbish bin. So raise your hand once you've got a circuit that looks like this. And if you want, you can also build it with your real physical Arduino here. But remember, if you are building it with your physical Arduino at the same time, remember that not to have it plugged into your computer when you're moving your components. Okay, that's just really good to be extra safe. We never have our circuits powered when we're changing our electrical components. So I'm going to pop some of them in. All right, I've got some brilliant people who are already up there. And then if you remember, the code for this, you can get to by clicking on this little button that says code up here. Okay, so everyone click on that code button. We'll have a look to see what we're doing in this. So the code that we've got here is what we were working on last time. So just to read it through, we've got this repeat loop. So it's going to repeat everything that's in all of the commands in here, and it's going to tell the Arduino to do this. And it says pin 2, I want you to set pin 2 to high. Okay, so essentially that's saying LED that's connected to pin 2, turn on. Then wait for a second. Then send another command that says set pin 2 to low. So that says turn it off, and then wait for another second, and then carry on. So once you've got code like that, raise your hand. Well, actually everybody had already, Fab, I can see that Ben's there. So once you've got your code like that, oh, you're all doing brilliantly. This is fantastic. Okay, and then we can start the simulation. Once you've got your code, you can press start simulation and watch as our light, our LED turns on and off. Can everyone see that? Is everybody's LED turning on and off? Fab. I can see some people's are, that's brilliant. If you want to make it extra Halloween-y, shall I make it Halloween-y, do you think, everyone? Yeah? All right. So I'm going to stop my simulation and then go back here. So I can change my LED from a nice blue, which was a bit Christmassy, because this is for the Christmas Light Festival, but just for today, we can be Halloween-y. I'm going to change it to an orange light, like a pumpkin, and then I'll simulate it again. So I've got my light going on and off like this. Fab. So does everybody have a flashing LED on their thing? Fab. I can see some thumbs up, some raised hands. All right, that's brilliant. So one LED flashing is really, really cool, but you are all so amazing that I think that we can have even more, some more wonderful things. So why don't we try together to make a rainbow? And again, if you want to just concentrate on doing the circuit virtually on Tinkercad today, that's fine. And then you can make the circuit just following the same thing. Or you can build it at the same time if you're super speedy. So if we want to make a rainbow of lights, who can tell me the colors of the rainbow? Does anybody want to type them in to the, is it okay to type them into the chat, Sarah, do we think? Or I could ask, oh, don't type it into the chat just yet. Fab. I think Dane knows the colours of the rainbow, but he hasn't turned his mute off, so he can't tell us.
Just for this 1 second of madness, I'm going to unmute everyone and we can shout all the colours of the rainbow out. Just
fantastic.
Our voices rather than typing.
All right, so I'll count down from 3.
Okay,
and then everyone can shout out the colours of the rainbow, okay? 3, 2, 1, go.
Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet.
Brilliant. Oh, fantastic. That was amazing. Yes. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. All right.
You're now back on. Good.
Okay. Don't sorry, I unmuted myself, but at the same time, Dane muted me. And so we just kept going in circles. Sorry about that, everybody. That was brilliant. And as a secret extra little project for you, you can all go and have a look at how rainbows are formed, or see if you can find some beautiful pictures of rainbows. We would love for you to tweet them to us or to email them to us. I would really love to see them. Rainbows are some of my favorite things. But we're going to try and make a rainbow out of our LEDs. Now that is going to be a bit tricky, because if you look here, if I click on the LED, I can change the LED's color, but I don't have all of the different colors, do I? I've got green, yellow, orange, blue, red, and white. So I don't have indigo and I don't have violet. And actually, if you have a look at your LEDs that come with your Arduinos, we don't even have orange lights there. So you've got red ones, like this, and green. No, that was blue, sorry. We've got green and yellow. So it's going to be a bit tricky. There's our green one and yellow. So how do you think, using just the LEDs you've got in your Arduinos, in your Arduino packs, how do you think we might make an orange light? Put your hand up if you think you've got an idea about how you might make an orange light, and just think it to yourself really, really hard. Fab, we've got some ideas about how to make orange light. Dane has an idea. Dane, do you want to share with everyone what your idea is?
I do have an idea. So I think it must be yellow and red.
Yellow and red, absolutely right. So we're going to make our orange light, instead of on Tinkercad by picking an orange LED, we're going to have 2 LEDs that go off at the same time. And we're going to have one red and one yellow, and we're going to say that that's like orange. So that's the first thing I think that we should all do. So I've changed this LED to red. Oh, I'm just going to hide my code so you can see it a bit more clearly and stop the simulation. Okay, so we've got this one and it's red, but I want to add a yellow light. Now that's actually really easy. To make it a bit clearer, I'm going to move this red LED up just so that it's it's nearer the middle. Then I'm going to bring another LED here and move it so that it lines up with the red LED. So can everyone bring another LED so that it's on the same rows along here as the red one, and turn it yellow? All right, raise your hand when you've done that. Oh, we've got some raised hands already. Fantastic, everybody. Oh, I can see some more raised hands. Brilliant. And now let's see what happens when I press start the simulation. Fab. So instead of just one of them going off, we've got 2 LEDs going off at the same time, flashing away. And because they're yellow and red at the same time, we're going to call that orange. And actually, when you make it for yourself, then they do look very like an orange light. Very like an orange light. So we've got our orange light, but we want the other light, the other colors of the rainbow, don't we? So what comes next? So we've got this red one, orange one. I just spent all that time telling you it was orange, didn't I? So we've got our orange light. Now we're going to build another circuit with a red light, okay? So I'm going to take my LED, I'm going to pop it on another row. So what we're going to do essentially is we're going to build another circuit. So we can control the red light here from pin 1. So I've got another wire that goes from pin 1 to my red LED back there. Now raise your hand if you think you know what component I want to put next along here. Fab, I've got some hands raised. Brilliant. Fantastic. All right, so for those of you who think that we're going to put a resistor there, you're absolutely right. Thank you for paying attention. I'm going to pull my resistor out, and just like in this circuit here, I'm going to put it from the other leg of the LED to the line next to the minus line up here, to our ground line. And I'm going to change the resistance to ohms and to 220. That just means it will still be a nice bright light. If I had a higher resistance, it would be paler. Okay, so we've got this other LED, which is fab. Yep, everyone happy with that? Brill. But now we want to code it. So I'm going to take up this here and I'm going to change my code. So I want it to go red, and then I want the red to turn off, and I want the orange to turn on. Okay, so my red LED is connected to pin 1, just here like this. So my red LED is connected to pin 1, and the first thing I want to happen is for that to go high. So that's red, so that will say red LED, turn on. And I'm going to wait for a second. Then I want my red LED to turn off, and at the same time, I want my orange, so my red and my yellow, to turn on. Okay, so I'm going to get another command and say set pin 2 to high. So that will send a command up through this wire to these LEDs saying turn on LEDs. I want my nice orange light. Okay, and then I want my orange to turn off and my red light to turn back on again. So this is a bit more complicated than we've done before. So I'm going to turn my, no, sorry, I've picked the wrong one. I'm going to send the command to my orange, to my 2 LEDs here, to turn off, low, and set pin 1 to back high again. So hopefully, if I've done this right, my red light will turn on, and then that will turn off, and my orange light will turn on, and then that will turn off, and my red light will turn back on again, okay? And by using that pattern, we can carry on to build the whole of the rainbow. So do you think it's gonna work? Put your hands up if you've got it, if you think it's gonna work, or if you're ready to test it. Fab. Oh, Dane was very excited about that. That was a very high raised hand, Dane. Right, so I'm going to start my simulation and we'll see what happens. initializing. So my red light turns on, then my orange, then my red, then my orange, then my red, then my orange. Put your hands up if you've got red and orange flashing LEDs. Oh, fantastic. Well done, everybody. Oh, great job. That's amazing. Okay, and so you could see by just using this same type of code, I could then add a red, orange, I could add a yellow LED after that, like this. Yeah, I could add a yellow LED and then a green LED and then a blue LED. Oh, sorry, got the wrong one, and a blue one. So if we wanted, we could go through the whole of the rainbow, building these beautiful flashing lights. But I think that what we're going to do is we're going to, just with our red and our orange lights for now, we're going to build our circuits. Okay? So do you all have your Arduinos with you? Pop your hand up if you've got your Arduino. Brill? Okay, lots of you, if you don't have your Arduino with you, that's absolutely fine. What you can do is carry on building creating the circuits for the yellow and the green and the blue LEDs on Tinkercad. So what we need you to do is on your breadboard, build the circuit just like on Tinkercad. Okay, so I'm going to delete these LEDs for now. So you need to take a red LED and pop it in. Like that. So with the LEDs, I've got a red one, can you see? And then a red and a yellow one next to each other, just like on the circuit. And then in a second, we'll add our resistors. Okay. So something that will just make it a bit easier for you to see what's happening is I haven't put the LEDs right next to each other because otherwise the wires can get a bit confused and it's just hard to see what's happening. So pop them on so there's a bit of space between them like that. Okay. And then I'm going to put some resistors in. So your resistors come in packs. Oh gosh, you can't see them with my virtual background. Come in ones like this. And you can tell what value resistor it is based on the stripes that are printed onto the resistor, but that's really hard to see sometimes. So you can see on the bottom on these yellow strips, they've got some numbers. They've got some numbers down here on the bottom. And you want to pick one that's 100 or 200 or 300. Doesn't matter exactly which ones, as long as it's one of the ones that's quite small, just 100 or so. And then, just like in Tinkercad, we want to put your resistor so that it goes from the leg of the LED to the minus line, like this. Make sure it's all in nice and tightly. So can you see? I've gone from the leg of my LED here, all the way down to the minus line. Oh, sorry. It's disappearing into my virtual background. And do the same thing with the orange LEDs. So pop that in. Oh. Do be careful with these little components. They're really easy to lose because they're quite small. So they look like this. Oh, sorry, I can't put it too close to the camera or it thinks it's the background and it disappears. So it's just like on the circuit. That's exactly what you need to do. Okay, Then we need to connect it up to our Arduino here. And if you remember, all of the pins are numbered along this line. So we've got pins number going from 0 to 13. And then you've got one that's labeled GND, ground, just like on the diagram on Tinkercad, so just like here. So it's always a good idea to use the same color wire that you've got on Tinkercad on this, in your real one, just because it makes it easier for you to spot. So I'm going to draw, take a wire from one side of the LED, of my red LED. I'm going to pin it in to pin 1, like this. Ah, sorry, it's all falling apart. So that's connected to pin 1, like that. And then I want another wire to go from my orange LEDs to pin 2. Like this. Okay, you can see that, everyone? And now I've got my circuits all complete. So pop your hand up when you've got your circuits done. Your 2 LEDs. Fab. It can be quite fiddly, so it does take a bit of practice to get them into the right slots, and make sure everything's the right way round, connected to the right bit. Dane's super excited about his. Okay, and now once you've done that, we are ready to send our code to the Arduino. Now, if you remember what we did last time, you go back to the code and then you can see the code that we've written here, but we want to see what the text is, a different way of saying the same thing. So we change this blocks here to blocks plus text, okay? And then copy all of that. So just Control C, just like you'd copy in a Word document or something. Okay, and then in your Arduino equipment, in your Arduino one program that looks just like this, you paste that all into there. And if you haven't got the Arduino thing, I will just put the link in the chat for you. I will try because Zoom doesn't want to let me find it. Here we go. You can get the program that you need. From that website there. So if you haven't got it now, that's absolutely fine. You can just carry on with the virtual one and you can put it onto your real Arduino later on. Okay, so now I've got my code in here and I'm going to plug my Arduino using my USB cable, which is disappearing into the background, using my USB cable into my computer like this. I have to make sure it's the right way up. Okay, and if it's connected properly, you'll see that there's a little light on the Arduinos itself. So that means it's getting power and the computer knows it's there. All right, can you see the little lights? Yeah, so now I'm just going to check that my computer knows which USB port to send it to. So if you go to tools here, because this is a really common thing that goes wrong when you're sending code to Arduinos. If you go to tools here, just up there, and then down all here to this port, you can see that there are a couple of options on it. One says COM3 here, and one says COM4 brackets Arduino. And you just want to make sure that the one that's ticked is the one that says Arduino, because otherwise it's going to send it to the wrong place and it's just going to get confused. Okay, so mine's right at the moment, which is great. And then I'm going to press upload. So I press this little thing, and what that will do is we'll send those commands to our Arduino. So this arrow here, upload. You can see down here, it says it's saving. Saving. Hang on. And then it breaks. That's why you don't do live demos, everyone. Okay, I'm just going to stop my share just for a second, because clearly Arduino has gone a bit crazy. All right. So I just wanted to save it. So make sure that you save it. So just file and then save as, whatever you want to call it. So it says it's done uploading. And then it's almost working. So mine hasn't quite worked to start with, has it? So you can see that all of my lights are turning on and then turning off. So somewhere I've got something wrong with my circuit. And that happens to me almost every time I make it for the first time, because I'm not very good at making sure that all of the things are in the right places. So I'm just going to stop. I'm going to unplug and then double check all of my circuits. But if you've all uploaded it, yours, have you got yours working, doing the beautiful flashing on and off? Pop your hand up if you have. Dane's very pleased because Dane's is working.
Very happy about that.
Oh, fantastic. You're all clearly much better at making these circuits than I am.
So remember, it's not a race, and there's plenty of time to go over this between now and next week's session. So if you haven't got it quite working, the videos all go up on the festival website. We'll get this one up as soon as possible, but the first two are up already. So if there is anything that you've missed out on, there's no reason to worry, because there's plenty of time to catch up. Sophie, how's your computer doing? Is it behaving yet?
Oh, well, so I've realized what I'd done wrong, or something that I'd done wrong. I've just thrown all my LEDs on the floor, everyone.
Oh, no.
If you throw your LEDs on the floor, make sure to pick them up before you start clumping all around them. Oh. Yeah, so what I'd done was I'd forgotten to put one of the wires into the Arduino, and so it was getting confused about which circuit was going where. You can see now my orange light is flashing, then my red, then orange, then red, orange, red, orange, red. Oh, I can see someone celebrating. Good job, Ben. So congratulations on getting that to work. All right, we are nearly out of time, everybody. So thank you for all of this amazing work. I'm just going to leave mine flashing away because I'm very proud of it. And what would be amazing is we would really, really love it if you could share any pictures that you've got with us. The festival would love it. So you can tweet, you can email them to us, or you can tweet using some hashtags that I'm about to pop in the chat there. Just before we go, so what would be brilliant over the next week is, if you would like, you can carry on building your rainbow. So we've got red and we've got orange, and you just have to do exactly the same thing for green and indigo and blue and violet, but not in that order, because that wasn't the order of the rainbow at all. So if you want to keep on coding, you could build your own rainbows using the code and the circuits that we have done today. But if Sarah has a minute, which she does, hooray, then Sarah has some other things that you might like to do with coding, with other types of coding that you can take part in. So I'm just going to hand over to Sarah quickly to share that.
Hi, yeah, sorry, I was still monitoring the chat. I'm getting a bit mixed up as to who I've helped and who I've just confused further, so sorry everybody. But yes, I work for Science Oxford, and I run computing workshops with Science Oxford. So once a month I do a coding club. I often use a BBC microbit, which is sort of similar to an Arduino. So I've got one here, this is a microbit. So it's, yeah, a little bit like an Arduino, but it's got some built-in features, so you don't have to use a breadboard, but it's a bit more limited than an Arduino with what you can build in the end. So they've got pros and cons. So I often use microbits, but not always. So in November, we're going to be doing a storytelling workshop, so making like a choose your own adventure book. So I do all sorts of different things, basically based on what I think is a cool activity to run at the time. So yes, once a month we do computing clubs, and we also do occasional holiday activities. So we did a robotics camp last year, which was really awesome. So yeah, if you are interested in getting involved in any of our activities, they are all on our website, which is scienceoxford.com. So do take a look at what we've got happening, or tweet at us as well. Yeah, I'd love to see you at one of our events.
Fab. Thank you so much, Sarah, and thank you everybody for your amazing circuits. So normally at this point, Dane would be like, Sophie, it's 1:45, it's time to wrap up. But I think he's too busy playing with his circuits to tell me that.
I'm way too busy. Oh dear, no, I almost got it.
Catherine's is working. Brilliant. Oh, I am so impressed, everybody.
So
all right, so thank you very, very much, everybody.
So do we want to do a very quick emergency help session if we've got a bit of time? So if everyone's got their breadboard flashing up like I have, I did a bit of homework over, I cheated actually, and I sort of did this in advance.
Game.
Because there are help sites, websites online that you can get if you want to kind of extend this. But the most important thing for us right now, I think, is to make sure that everyone's not left behind. Mm-hmm. So if you've got your LEDs flashing and it's kind of working in a way that you almost are happy with, you might not be ecstatic, but hopefully it's almost right. You might then be sufficiently well kind of set up to do a little bit of tinkering yourself. But if you really are having a trouble, please stay behind, and we'll do a bit of a 10-minute, like we did last time, emergency kind of help masterclass with Sophie and Sarah. But thanks everyone for joining. Get tinkering in between now and next week, and come back, and we'll do the next stage, and you'll eventually start getting to build your Christmas lantern. So if that's it with you, please feel free to leave. And if you want to have a quick 10-minute masterclass and a bit of extra help, please stay behind. And if you can helpfully share your screen or get your webcam working, this is just going to be a useful opportunity for us to see where your wires are all going and why they're not doing the thing we want them to do.